Hazard Control Technologies presents F500 encapsulator technology.
More than 1 million tires go up in flames at a dump just a couple of miles north of Coolidge. You can see it right there on the map. That sent a cloud of smoke thousands of feet into the air. Sky Fox arrived on the scene minutes after it all started. This was the scene around 3:30. Less than 30 minutes later, the second row of tires catch fire, sending even more black smoke into the air. And this was the scene less than 3 hours later, after nearly all of the piles had caught fire.
Dust, rain, and high winds. High winds that carried the dangerous smoke close to the ground and into nearby homes. Tonight there are evacuations, health concerns.
Good evening, everyone. It is officially a state of emergency on the Gila River Indian Reservation tonight.
Blaze has been to battle. It certainly has been a bear environmentally, but like us, firefighters are just watching some 16 piles of tires burn. Now, each pile is 175 feet long, 50 feet wide, and 60 feet tall.
Toxic smoke is responsible now for a second night of evacuations in parts of the Gila River Indian community like Blackwater. Bulldozers have been working since last night to push the 12 piles of tires that haven't burned away from the 16 piles that are burning. If they've moved them far enough, this fire won't get any bigger. Hope number 2 is a second shipment of firefighting foam, originally scheduled to arrive from Georgia at midnight, now expected around 3 a.m.
Firefighters say a foam chemical retardant seems to be helping extinguish the fire, and they are trying to arrange for emergency shipments of more foam and water.
Now, that fire retardant was flown in from Atlanta, Georgia, and trucked up here from Sky Harbor Airport.
And it seemed to have turned the black smoke into white. Then you add more water to it, then it seeps down and puts out the fire.
Well, we're going to show you, Marty and Scott, because it's the third day of this fire, and they have done a lot of work on it. You can see from up here now there are some piles that are still putting out that black smoke. Some of those piles, though, have changed to putting on a white smoke. The reason for that, they're putting a fire retardant on those. You can see the trucks down there.
That's right. This has been a very difficult fire to fight. But as you look at it right here, you can see fire trucks spraying foam on the fire. They've shipped in 12,000 gallons of a special foam.
More than 1 million tires are still burning on part of the Gila River Indian community. This is what the scene looks like right now from Chopper 15's Ultracam. Fire crews have spent the morning putting a special foam on the tires. News 15's Kerry Domries tells us more about that from his bird's eye view in the chopper. Kerry?
Yes, Mark, we are live over the scene right now. Rick Bogrand has a shot of a fire suppressant that's being deployed on these tires. Apparently they've been putting this on all morning. The white smoke that you see coming off the tire fires is an indication that the flame suppressant is working.
All-night fire crews poured foam on millions of tires burning just south of Phoenix on the Gila River Indian community. Progress is slow, but the special firefighting foam is working.
Hazard Control Technologies presents F500 encapsulator technology. Throughout the summer of 2012, the residents of Attica, New York, complained of noxious odors emanating from a pile of recycled glass and plastic at nearby Hillcrest Industries. The stockpile was 200 feet wide, 200 feet long, and 40 feet high. The odor was from material burning deep inside. Upon hearing about this situation on the local news, a representative from Hazard Control Technologies approached Hillcrest with a plan to use F500 encapsulator agent and a piercing rod to both encapsulate the odors and extinguish the deep-seated fire. This was just one of many combustible bulk materials prone to spontaneous combustion that HCT has been asked to extinguish over the years. HCT developed this expertise fighting many silo fires with burning subbituminous coal. On September 25th, a firefighting effort began at 9 a.m. with a piercing rod system and a 1% F500 encapsulator agent solution from HCT. The first well was 750 degrees Fahrenheit at about 25 feet below the surface. After piercing to 25 feet, they flowed F500 for 2.5 minutes. The temperature quickly dropped to 69 degrees as the solution permeated the recycled materials. The second well was 525 degrees and again showed a rapid drop in temperature. The third well was quickly extinguished, but at 2 p.m. the EPA advised the team they were taking over management of the pile. The EPA agreed the F500 was working, but believed the pile was too large to manage and planned to recommend a contractor be hired to excavate the entire pile. That weekend, a neighbor was interviewed on the radio and said the odors were gone. In fact, methane and benzene readings, which were at 3 to 6 parts per million, were now 0. On September 29th, after a brief safety meeting, a contractor began to dismantle the pile as instructed by the EPA. Due to the success shown by the F500 encapsulator agent with the piercing rod, it was decided F500 would be used to encapsulate odors and extinguish any hot materials as they dug into the mound. To accomplish this, a firefighter was placed on an aerial platform and continually sprayed F500 as the pile was excavated. 90 gallons of F500 encapsulator agent was added to a holding tank containing 9,000 gallons of water to deliver a 1% solution. A large pump was used to deliver the F500 solution with a 1 3/4-inch hand line to the aerial platform for the excavation and another 1 3/4-inch hand line to the staging area as backup. Meanwhile, the EPA monitored the air quality with consistent benzene and methane readings of 0. 2 excavators loaded the recycled material onto dump trucks where it was removed to a second site. The material was spread out and rolled to make sure all of the air was removed to prevent further spontaneous combustion. The compressed material was then moved to multiple, smaller, more manageable cold mounds. The EPA declared the pile was completely extinguished on October 16th. In total, 570 gallons of F500 encapsulator agent was used over the 2-week excavation to ensure no odors escaped and that every bit of the recycled material was cooled and would be safe to move to the new pile. Because the F500 penetrates bulk materials so efficiently, the small amount of F500 used never created a runoff problem from the constant spraying. Spontaneous combustion is an ever-present danger with any combustible material. With the HCT piercing rod and F500 encapsulator agent on hand, Hillcrest is well prepared to immediately handle any future hotspots. Hazard Control Technologies presents F500 encapsulator technology. This demonstration of the Georgia Public Safety Training Center in Forsyth, Georgia, shows how impressive F500 encapsulator agent is for permanent burn-back resistance. The firefighter is using a 20-gallon per minute TKO nozzle to pre-treat the pallets on the left with 1% F500 encapsulator agent. The same unique qualities that make F500 EA so effective fighting fires also prevent fuels from igniting. Burn-back resistance is a very important characteristic during firefighting. Simply applying F500 EA to an adjacent building can save the building from becoming collateral damage. Plus, once you extinguish a fire, you can move on, knowing the area behind you won't reignite.
It's all right.
So what we did is pre-treated that first set of skids at 1% at 500 to show you the burn back.
In spite of the high temperatures, the pallets on the left do not ignite.
Oh, hey, I'll get on nozzle.
You've been waiting to do something, right?
Do what?
You've been waiting to do something.
I just wanted
Scott, what kind of temperatures we got?
I only had 1100. I think I'm getting a 1300 now.
What we got?
It's still around 1100 max.
A 20-gallon per minute TKO nozzle was used to extinguish the pallets. The TKO nozzle carries 2 quarts of F500EA. After the fire, no agent is wasted in the lines. The warm white vapor shows F500EA is working. F500EA does not create scalding steam. Instead of evaporating like water, the F500EA water droplets absorb the heat by thermal conveyance.
So as you see, you get that rapid knockdown, you get that rapid extinguishment. You also have rapid cooling. The nails are still hot. Just watch the nails. The nails are still warm. Now you have to look. Here you still have some of the gray. So that gray is still going to be a little bit hot. In a structure fire environment, you still have your overhauling to do. So what it gives you is a really rapid knockdown. So it gives you a rapid knockdown. You can see the burn back resistance.
Oh yeah.
F500EA extinguishes a fire 3 ways. It encapsulates the carbons and hydrocarbons, rendering them non-flammable. It rapidly reduces the temperature, remove the heat, extinguish the fire. Finally, F500EA interrupts the free radical chain reaction. This removes almost all of the smoke and toxins, including cancer-causing toxins.
Even on your overhaul, it's not like you're using tons of water and just flooding it out. A little bit of heat goes a long way.
There is no scalding steam since F500EA droplets don't evaporate like water.
To make sure that he gets a really good close-up of the glow on here, and also trying to reignite that.
Okay, I'm doing it.
A few minutes ago, this pallet was burning. Then it was extinguished with that 500 EA. Now it won't sustain combustion, even with a 2,000-degree torch. And it's cool to the touch.
It's still cool to the touch, even after having the torch on it.
The unburned pallets also won't support combustion. This is permanent burn-back resistance with that 500 encapsulator agent.
So while the heat's on it, it'll burn. As soon as you take the heat away, it won't free burn.
When you hear the foam guys say we don't provide burn back resistance, here's video evidence.
Fantastic. Great to see you. I watched every one of the videos that's on site. Thanks for having us down here. Nothing like feeling, literally.
Now remember, we're throwing these out here with the 20 GPL nozzle, so like Ron said, it might have been, what, 15 seconds, even 30 seconds you put on 10 gallons.
Yeah, I don't even
Not
think
very
it was that.
much.
No, I wasn't even close to it.
Yeah, we probably had it at 4 or 5 seconds, and then another liter, what you could use out of a deck sprayer to hit a couple of hot spots that were left.
So we are changing the way we fight fires from surround and drown, where we surrounded and drowned it with tons and tons of water, to what we call knockdown and overhaul. Hence the TKO nozzle is turbo, knockdown, and overhaul, TKO.